Hey, welcome back to another episode of It's a Football Thing. As always, I'm your host, RJ, and I'm joined by my champion co-host and legendary mate, Scott Daguna. Unfortunately, our third co-host, Rob the Red Devil, is unable to join us this evening due to some personal commitments. I assure you, it is not related to a Manchester United result. I know some of you might reflect on the Newcastle game and Robbie not being here for that, but as those who know Robbie well enough, we know that he's not shy to take a few punches when United lose, and he'd be the first to admit just how below standard they have been, particularly in that clash. But, Scott, how you going, mate?
I'm good, man. Yeah, and look, I've got to have Robbie's back on that. He's actually not piking it out this time. He's got genuine commitments. But don't worry, we'll be ready to put the boot into United at some point, and that's one thing RJ and I can always agree on. But I'm doing well, man. Busy, keeping my mind busy, keeping myself busy. Not enough hours in the day. What about you? How are you?
Not bad, man. Just been, like you said, even though I'm on holidays at the moment like yourself, I feel that I've got a lot of housing projects to do at home just to keep myself stimulated because, unfortunately, there's not football 24 hours a day, and I've got that old chestnut called life and family to maintain. So on top of being in isolation, which helps doing those housing projects, it's just been one of those situations where I've been able to take a chill pill and relax and just watch some of the hysteria of football on and off the field. And I know you know exactly who I'm talking about with the off the field stuff.
That's it. Well, let's just acknowledge some of the champions who've joined us in the live chat. Lottie from Cannon Chatters here. Lottie, always good to have you with us. If you're looking for good Arsenal content, make sure you check out Cannon Chatter. We've got Emad here. Emad, how are you, my friend? We've had a little pre-pod chat. I did warn Emad I was putting the boot in today. So he's here. He's brave. Shano's here. Shano's throwing shade already. Love it. Love it. Marty's here. How are you, Martin? Declared. Robbie's got a commitment on, man. Genuine commitment. Can't be here. Alex speaking truth. The good-looking ones are here today. Absolutely. I'm glad you think that way. My wife doesn't. Daniel's here. Love Daniel. Dan Hill's here. Always a pleasure to have you here. Check out Dan's podcast as well. Dan, chuck and Lottie, if you guys want to chuck in the links and names in the live chat, feel free. We've got one more comment before we get into it. RJ, you need to get pro clubs. We're on the way up. Man, we are on the way up. And anyone that wants to play some pro clubs with us, just send me a DM.
Well, if you want to be on the way up, declared, and yourself, Scott, then my advice is to not get me involved because, as Scott knows, I'm okay for half a game, but then I just drop off. I sometimes do a bit of a Chelsea collapse at times, but best thing, don't get me involved.
That's it. And we've got Legs Aruni's here too, and Moira's right into it. We'll talk about this. You know what? Let's start with this, RJ. Let's get straight into Arsenal. Because it was a big match, and we both watched this match, and we had a bit of conversation about it.
Very exciting.
Arsenal need to perform well against the Big Six to be considered part of it. City proved that they don't bottle it, that they don't have the bottle, and loss of Gabriel is critical. There's plenty to take in from there. But look, I look at that first sentence. Arsenal need to perform well against the Big Six. Let's put the banter aside, RJ, for a minute. I think you and I can both agree that Arsenal performed extremely well overall when you look at the match and the whole picture.
Yeah, no, it's a fair comment, Scott. We were tic-tacking a little bit afterwards and, banter in for a moment, then I'll put it back out. We were stirring each other up a bit, but we agreed that Arsenal, and I put this out on a tweet, and check out Dan's content below. Credit where it's due. Arsenal turned up. I thought they were going to lose 3-1. They lost 2-1 again. Very, very harsh on the Gunners because they did have a silly send-off, which, Scott, you can unpack. But just quickly, Arsenal's intensity and the way that they approach the game with a lot of bravery, and they just really look to make a statement. And whether or not there's a coincidence that Arteta wasn't the one on the sidelines helping with that, you read in that what you will. But I do feel no sympathy for City, obviously, because they're a talented squad, very big squad. But you do see the benefits of when you do have an extra few days rest. If that was in a reverse situation, I dare say Arsenal would struggle to play at the same level of intensity because City were very sluggish. Arsenal, brilliant, played them off the park, but I think partially attributed to the fact that City were very underwhelming, very energy was lacking. But credit again, Arsenal played a great game, just couldn't get the job done.
I mean, look, I was delighted with the aggressive nature of our play. Like, we were pressing them, we were pressuring them. I haven't seen Man City be dominated like that in a very long time, because they were dominated. And I don't say that lightly. I'm not one of these Arsenal fans looking for clout who wants to get up and be hysterical, but we dominated. It was probably one of our best periods of play that I've seen in a very, very long time. We saw the goal from Saka, who, again, is just taking his game to that next level.
Nice finish as well.
Yeah. We saw some great defending. Thomas Partey, that was the best 45 minutes of football I've seen him play. The best game I've seen him play for Arsenal. But then the inexperience, well, not inexperienced, because Granit Xhaka is not inexperienced, nor is Gabriel. But I guess that squad mentality really let us down. We lost our heads. We gave away a stupid penalty. It's classic Granit Xhaka. He does.
It was a penalty, right? You do agree it was a penalty?
Yeah. Look,
soft.
I think it was soft, but had he not, if you watch it closely, Atwell, who I'm not going to praise after that, he straight away, when it happened in real time, was saying, "Nah, get up," like waving it on. If he wanted to give the pen, he would have given it straight away. But I think when you go back and look at that video footage and you can see that shirt being pulled, it was needless, unnecessary, and that is what caused the penalty. You cannot grab the shirt like that, regardless of whether you believe he was going down. I don't think Atwell was looking for an agenda to give the penalty, because he
called against it. Yeah,
he waved it on. But then watching that replay, that shirt, there's a solid grab. It's not a touch. It's not a swipe. He grabbed the shirt, and you can't do that.
And his thigh as well, Scott. You know what I mean? The initial leg sticking out to block made contact, and Silva made the most of it. Let's be honest. He's looking for it. But Xhaka, you'd think with a bit more of experience, unreliable, mate. He's unreliable.
Yeah, it was disappointing. I mean, look, the Ødegaard one, I'm a bit split on. It, to me, was a 50-50 call. I would have liked him to look at it, but when you look at the letter of the law, VAR is only meant to intervene on a clear and obvious error. Now, that first pen, the penalty shout, I don't think there was a clear and obvious error in that. There was debate, because even now, I still don't know 100% if I do think it was a pen, but I could see how people would say it wasn't a pen as well. And to me, that makes it not clear and obvious. So I understand that penalty wasn't given. Then you've got Gabriel getting sent off for just stupidity. It was heat of the moment. It was stupid. He let his emotions get the better of him. You know, I'm not going to...
Done that before, hasn't he? Both of those players who cost you the game are repeat offenders. That's the problem.
Yeah, so look, I mean, I'm not going to dig out the players because they were phenomenal. Arteta set them up really well, even though he wasn't there. I thought they were managed well on the day. Overall, I'm not walking away from that annoyed or upset. I'm upset that we didn't get all 3 points, because I feel like we deserved 3 points. But the fact that we went head-to-head, toe-to-toe, we gave City a fight, that's unfortunately what we have to settle with. But there are more positives than negatives. I don't know if you had any overall thoughts on the match before I go through some.
It's just such a shame that you couldn't hold them to that draw. But you know what? Credit to City in the sense that using their numerical advantage, which they didn't for the most part before the goal, they never gave up. They thought the goal was coming, and it did. You create your own luck, as a good friend of mine likes to say often, you create your own luck. And that's exactly what they did. So you've got to take your hat off for them for nutting out the result. But it is a harsh thing on Arsenal, because we've been there where we've been a dominant team and not gotten all 3 points. And it is a bitter pill to swallow. But like you said, overall, more positives than negatives, and you just got to take your medicine.
Straight away, when the full-time whistle went, I had my really angry tweet ready about how we were robbed. And I thought to myself, nah, I know if I send this out, RJ's going to pin me on, you make your own luck. Because I always say it, it's one of my catchphrases. So I knew, man. But look, I always find once you go back and watch it the next day, I can understand why the pen was given against Xhaka. It was stupidity from him. We've got 19 of you watching at the moment. Please smash that like button. If you are here for the first time, hit subscribe as well. I'm just going to go through a few of the live chat comments.
Some great comments.
Yeah. Lottie, like me, proud of the boys. City had the 12th man. Yeah, look, he was poor. Dan saying that Arsenal were fantastic. Saka was sumptuous. Yeah, it was that discipline. And that's the theme of the live chat you can see here. Like Emad saying the same thing. My man, Gamer DJ, how are you? We did dominate. Absolutely. I like this one. Aryan Saka. You know a bit about Mr. Robin, RJ.
Decent player in his day. Can I just say on that, Will, very quickly, Lamb, we'll come back to this. What annoyed me about him was particularly after the penalty incident, then the red card, all the players were getting up in his business. Mate, you just need to stop everyone, take control. And both sets of players were doing it. It wasn't just Arsenal becoming unreasonable. City as well were influencing the ref. And I just felt he lost control of it. And that's very poor from someone that's very experienced. And the amount of fouls, I believe Rodri was giving away and not getting a card.
It should have been booked before.
There was a lot of consistency problems that if I was a Gunners fan, I'd be pretty livid about. But I think you, strangely, for as good as you were in the first half, I think that's where you ended up losing it because you didn't really show that ruthlessness to really hit them when they were down. You let them back in the game by giving them some hope. And a team like that, you only need to leave the door slightly ajar, and they took advantage.
100%, man. You're spot on with that. But I love this comment from Martin.
Great comment.
You won the game with your feet, but you lost it with your hands. I don't think I could say it better myself. We've got 21 of you live at the moment, only 11 likes on this video. Please chuck some more in. Helps get our content seen. I'm just going to quickly flick through a couple more and then we'll move on. City definitely were arrogant and Arsenal did play great. Got to agree, Tom. Make sure you check Tom out on the United podcast as well. I was just there before this started. Was great. George, stupidity from Gabriel and Xhaka, absolutely. Alex with a bit of Arsenal banter in there. Here we go, dominating a City side who are clearly... Now, you know what? I don't agree that City were in first gear. I don't think City came into the game in first gear. It was important for them to maintain their momentum at the top of the table. So not sure if I agree that they were...
I think they were first gear in the sense of physically. Like I said, Scott, like I know in the Leicester game, because Pep's usually known for his tinkering. But this game, and the commentators called it out, strangely, he kept a largely similar side, I believe. And as a result, they looked very heavy-legged. And Arsenal, to their credit, used all of that extra energy to really put themselves on the front foot to make City look so passive. So maybe it's first gear from the perspective of they were outplayed physically as well as tactically speaking.
Yeah, and I love this here. Lottie, I'm guessing, was at the game too. 80% of the fans remaining in the ground afterwards. That's a credit to how they played. After a loss against a rival, you don't often see that. So, look, the general consensus is that Arsenal fans, we're proud of our team. We can see there's growth. This is an unfortunate result, but we move on. Let's talk about your team, RJ. Let's talk Chelsea. I really want your thoughts on Lukaku first. Let's not even get into the result. Let's just talk Lukaku. Where are you at with this?
Lukaku, sorry? No, I'm just kidding.
Lukaku?
Yeah, exactly. So many good ones. It's been a whirlwind past few days. And the funny thing is I'm an Inter fan as well. So it's been very interesting, so to speak. The interview, we all saw it or we heard about it. Romelu Lukaku had an interview with Sky Sports. This was a few weeks ago. Was the timing of its release is a bit of a subplot. But his comments were geared to appeal to the Inter fans because of the nature of his departure. But in trying to appease them and show his affection, he's actually gone and caused a stir up in the Chelsea community by saying Inter has the best fans. I wouldn't have left Inter had they gave me a contract extension or renewed my contract. I was very disappointed. You know, Barcelona, Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, they're the real top three clubs in the world. So he said all of these comments that were someone that's got a lot of experience. It's not like a young, Trevor Chalobah who might have said the wrong thing and hasn't been properly media trained. But this guy's at the peak of his powers, got the most experience, is fully aware of his influence. To say the things he has said, and to not understand the implication and the impact of what it would have on the current employer and fan base is just truly mind-boggling, mate. Like, you look on Twitter, you look on Instagram or whatever, the whole Chelsea community is divided in the sense of how they want to find a resolution going forward. But as I said, ironically, his comments while targeting Tuchel has actually united Chelsea's fan base behind Tuchel, meaning culture is greater than any one player. And even though he was dropped for the Liverpool game, which was our biggest game of the season, and we'll talk about that in a minute, not only did we look better without him, strangely enough, but also we have made the right decision based on the long-term future of our club. So it's still very much a hot situation at the moment. They have had clear-the-air talk, so to speak. We'll probably get some PR coming out saying he apologises for the magnitude of his interview, blah, blah, blah. But as I've said many times, actions speak louder than words. I see him now as an employee of the club. His relationship is transactional, and he will be judged for the amount of goals and assists and contributions he does on the field. And as long as he keeps respectful of it, I don't care about any dream narratives or anything like that anymore. He is simply a player of Chelsea Football Club.
Arsenal. RJ's an Inter fan. Just quickly react to this for me. Just been broken. Inter have officially communicated to Ajax that they're signing Onana as a free agent.
Yeah.
He's 100% joining them. Happy with that?
Yeah, this has been on the cards for a while now, and obviously we all know who Onana is, and he's had a good little stint, but now he had a bit of a break and ready to come and join us. I think it's a good signing.
Perfect. Hey, I want to give my thoughts on Lukaku as an outsider. This homecoming was never one about, I have unfinished business at Chelsea, I love this club, and I want to come back and see it succeed. To me, this was an opportunistic move. It was big money, big reputation, champions of Europe. He came back. I see some Chelsea fans who are over the top hurt by this. And I think that's because they bought into that narrative, that romantic narrative that he was meant to come back and love the club. I don't think it was ever that. I mean, he was ruthlessly let go. And I'm not saying it justifies his actions now, because he's being paid handsomely for a job that he's not doing very well, right? But I think a lot of the hype and overreaction has come from people who have bought into that romantic view of it. And I don't think there is romance here.
Oh, I disagree, Scott, and I'll tell you why.
Do you honestly think the guy loves the club? You think he loves Chelsea?
We were sold a dream because we have heard his comments before signing and at the time of signing, and they had the whole video about how this was his second coming. He had unfinished business. He was a supporter of the club. He's publicly flirted with the club previously, either through himself directly or through connected parties. And the fact that he wasn't like someone, example, Hakim Ziyech, great player, didn't really have a public affinity or a backdrop. Lukaku left us when he was very young and had unfinished business. He said when he came back, this was his sort of dream, sort of second return. Started off so well, kissed the badge against Arsenal when he scored. We all saw that. But you know what I mean? Now, like, I've had time to process all this, Scott, and I've spoken to a lot of these friends of mine online, and it's very cathartic. But now I'm just past the point where I care too much, because ultimately he's paying lots of money to deliver, and now he needs to start delivering. He has done it to his credit when he started. He's come back the last 2 games and scored back-to-back. So all we want is a mercenary. We've paid this guy. He just needs to deliver in goals and assists. Everything else is superfluous.
Yeah, there's a few interesting comments coming up in the chat in regards to this. It seems that this is one of them things in football that everyone's got a bit of an opinion on. I like this one from Dan. The silver lining is that it's fostered a sense of togetherness amongst the fans and level of support for a head coach that's rarely been seen.
I agree.
Now, let's kind of flip to the result, because you had that 2-2 draw, which I don't think is a bad result against Liverpool. But your form has been a bit sketchy. Do you think, and keep in mind, and you know this is Chelsea Football Club, managers and not winning isn't tolerated. Do you think there's any danger whatsoever for Thomas Tuchel, or do you think, no, the fans are behind him, so that means the board and Roman would be too?
Yeah, that's a fair question, but given what's transpired with Lukaku and the way that he's got credit with the Champions League mid-season and he's unified a squad that's been in disharmony, I think that he's got extra credit to spend. And unless we start losing 3, 4, 5 in a row and there's no path to sustainable improvement, which was the excuse for when Lampard was given the flick pass, I don't think he's in any danger because look at that display against Liverpool. People were asking, it's a simple thing, drop him because he doesn't care about the club, blah, blah, blah. But Tuchel's got a job to do. And if you're not picking your best asset on paper, and he's our most expensive player, it's a very difficult decision to make because ultimately you're in a results-driven business and you don't pick your best asset. You run the risk of getting a suboptimal result. But the reality was we played a very strong performance. The amount of intensity from the get-go, we played the rock and roll football against a team that's known for that. We really took it to them. Liverpool had a few players out, but so did we. So they cancel each other out. In fact, we probably had worse injuries in terms of the amount of injury. That said, we conceded 2 goals, went 2-0 down, and I thought this is such a weird game because we're all over them, but we're losing 2-0. I thought, okay, we're going to put the cue in the rack. We're going to talk about how disappointing it was because we played so well but lost. But then Kovacic scores an absolute screamer, goal of the season contender, and then Pulisic doubles it up a quick fire. We could have won the game. They could have won the game. It was probably a fair result, and Manchester City are the ultimate winners as a result. So, game of the season, I say for myself, even though we didn't win, but from a neutral point of view, and you can tell me as a neutral, surely you watched it at times thinking, this is high quality football. This is end to end. This is why the Premier League gets the raps it gets because look how exciting this is.
Yeah, man, look, it was top viewing. I mean, you had goals, you had a bit of controversy, you had a worldie from Kovacic. That goal.
Mane should have been sent off, arguably, in 15
Mate,
seconds.
not for the first time with Mane as well. I remember him putting an elbow into someone's head against us and nothing happened. But, I think it was a fair result on the day. I think Liverpool deserved to be 2-0 up because they are so clinical. But your fight back and your courage there, I don't think these players aren't playing for Thomas Tuchel. They're certainly playing for him, and you could see because teams that aren't playing for the gaffer don't go 2-0 down and fight back. Not against Liverpool. They roll over and they get pummeled. So, yeah, look, it was a great match. That Kovacic goal probably for me is goal of the season at this point. It was brilliant. On Liverpool, I think Shano's pointing out a good point that's come up throughout the season. It's not a surprise, but Liverpool will struggle during AFCON. To me, I think they could be out of that race. They could be out of that race. This might be another one of them seasons where City just run away with it now. Do you agree?
Well, that's why I think even though we're disappointed to not win, I think they will be even more hurt because of the result that they had the previous match. They needed to get maximum points before AFCON, knowing how vulnerable they're going to be, and especially considering who scored their 2 goals are their 2 African stars. So it's a team sport, but every team has the star players or those that they lean on for more responsibility. And combining the fact that they've got those COVID-impacted players plus the injuries, this is only going to compound their problems. So, look, they haven't got the hardest of fixtures on paper. I say that sparingly, but it's not looking great for them, and I would be concerned if I was a Reds fan during this period.
Let's move on. Let's move on a little bit. I'm going to let George have the first say on it. Teams that aren't playing for the gaffer lose 1-0 at home to Wolves. We're going to talk United. My views are a little bit probably backed by some anger at Man United because we've got plenty of crap from them. But please take no offense. I'm going to speak truth, my truth anyway. I look at this Man United team. They've gone through Mourinho, Oli. Now they've got Ralph. Who did they have before? His name's lost me. Dutch manager, Van Gaal.
Yes.
They've had some managers come through and nothing's changed. They are underperforming. They're not doing what they need to do, but the whole time their lineups have looked good. On paper, they look brilliant. Yeah. But you've got players in there who have been hyped and gassed by United fans for seasons. Greenwood, best English talent. You had Martial. I remember him coming in. He was going to be the next Thierry Henry. I was told he's the next Thierry Henry. You've got Ronaldo's come back, and he's been okay. You've got McTominay in the middle. You've got all these young players there who we've heard gassed up. Jadon Sancho. They're not performing. At some point, the buck can't always go on the manager. You've got a core of players and you've got a squad who just aren't good enough for where Manchester United want to be. Let's be real, banter aside. United should be challenging for titles. They should be challenging for titles. They're Manchester United. They are huge, right? But they're not doing that. And just in the nick of time, at the best possible time, and I'll put it in the deck, I want to say hi to some of these people in the live chat, but we had someone jump in just in the nick of time.
Special guest.
Look, it's Farhan, United in the Mud. Farhan, welcome. Please make sure you hit the sub button if you haven't already. We've got Emad, still another 5 months of Klopp bitching and moaning. The Arsenal Therapy Podcast, welcome guys, pleasure. We'll have to link up again soon. We've got We're the Arsenal, Jake. How you going, Jake? Welcome. Few new faces, please hit the like button and subscribe. And we have our man, Robbie.
Straight out of a crisis talk at Old Trafford with Rangnick. We've got new interim manager, Robbie. How are you, mate?
Yeah, sorry, guys. Some family stuff, so a bit on a delay, but I wanted to make an appearance and show my face so I didn't get accused of...
No, we stuck up for you. We stuck up for you already. But, Robbie, I don't know how long you can stay. So I was just on a rant about how you've got players who are being gassed up. Greenwood, Martial, Rashford, Foden, all these guys who are meant to be
Foden,
like...
Wrong city, mate.
Did I say Foden?
Yeah,
you meant Sancho, I think.
Sancho. And I'm saying you can't keep blaming managers. These guys have not lived up to their potential. They're either not good enough or they're at their peak. Like, you need new players. I can't believe people are blaming Ralph for this now. At some point, you've got to stop blaming managers.
Yeah, look, I think it's early days to start pointing the finger at Ralph, even though there's the only pointing finger you could say is maybe like not adjusting. You know, he's been pretty persistent in the last 5 games with his 4-2-2, and you know, besides the first half an hour in that first game against Palace, I haven't seen nothing that's worked. I haven't seen any pressing. I haven't seen any, you know, after 8 seconds getting a shot away. I haven't seen, you know, he wants to play as far away from our goal as possible, and all I've seen is most of the games have been played in our own half, and you know, a lot of chances we've been conceding. So look, I think I can only blame Keenan, saying maybe he's a bit stubborn and he hasn't been able to, you know, change according to how the game's been panning out. But look, mate, I'm nearly lost for words. I don't know what is wrong with United. I was talking to Tom about this during the day today, and I'm just like, I just feel like we're running around in circles with oil under our feet because, you know, I thought, yes, we'll get a new manager, we'll get a bounce. You know, we've got a couple of results, nothing that, you know, pulled trees up here. I know he's only new, but, you know, it was a 1-0 against Norwich. It was a 1-0 against Palace. We had a draw last week, which was disappointing against Newcastle. We had a pretty decent game against Burnley, the 3-1 win. And then, you know, today's a really bad result. At home, dropping points again. You know, a loss, not even a draw for me would have been a bad result. But to lose at home, and like I said, Wolves dominated majority of the game as well in all stats. I think by the time I hit half-time, they had like 14 shots to our 3 at Old Trafford. So, look, all the numbers look bad. And I'm officially in panic mode. And I really think that top 4 is really not going to happen. At this stage, right now, I don't see top 4 happening because just you have to go on what you see on the pitch. I told you, we've all seen 100 times on paper and on FIFA, this team is stacked to go as far as you can. You got all the names, but the team's just playing as individuals at the moment. You can't see no teamwork. And the biggest thing for me is you can't see an identity. And that's the thing I thought we might have got under Ralph a little bit more. Because
that takes time though, Robbie. It takes time.
It takes time, but you know, I got a glimpse of it for half an hour in that game. I'm like, oh, beautiful. In 5 weeks, we're going to see a little bit more of that. But since that, I haven't seen nothing more. But I see a team of individuals. It looks messy. We have no pressing at all. Mate, we turn the ball over more than we have it. So everything at the moment is not working. And I don't know what it is. I can't put my finger on it. But mate, if we don't get our act together soon, there's no Champions League football again next year for United.
RJ, I want to throw this at you for a minute to get your thoughts. Robbie, are you with us for a little bit, or do you have to jump?
Yeah, I'll hang around for a bit. Yeah.
All right. Just let me know when you need to jump. I've seen a few fans, Arj, come out and look. Emad knows more about United than I ever will. He watches more United than I ever will. He's saying that in his opinion, their biggest issue is a certain GOAT up front, Mr. Ronaldo. Do you think it's fair to pin the blame on him, or do you think the issue is something else? I know a lot of fans, Tom was talking about the ownership group. I'm talking about the players as a whole, but do you think Ronaldo has contributed to their poor form, Arj?
Well, just cheekily, if he was the GOAT, he'd be a solution, not the problem. But no, look, it's no matter how good your player is, the team needs to be performing, and it's not fair to pin it on any one player. But I find it interesting that in a system that Rangnick has been used to and is deployed, and a lot of these, German modern coaches play with the high intensity press model, you've got people up front that aren't really designed for doing that. So it's just a square peg round hole situation, because and I've been reading a lot about this lately, is that all it takes, sort of like the whole, your chain is as strong as your weakest link. And if you've got one player that's not pressing the way you need it to be pressed in a coordinated and coherent way, the rest of the pressing strategy goes out the door. So it's just strange that they're deploying this model using people that don't know how to really do it, or physically can't do it anymore because of age and experience and whatnot. But not really Ronaldo's fault. I think they've really got to work around him. But strangely enough, they've made him the captain. And I'm not sure, I wanted to get Rob's thoughts on that. What did you think of why they've picked him as the captain? Is it more from a leadership point of view to try to spur up the troops, or is it he genuinely thinks Ronaldo should be the captain? What do you think, Rob?
I look nothing into the captaincy from today. I wouldn't be surprised by our next game. It'll be, if Maguire's back, he'll be back, or it'll be someone else. We're changing captains like underwear at the moment. I think today he got the nod over De Gea because he said it was out of one or the other because they're the most experienced players on the field. So I'm not looking too deep into the whole captaincy thing. Look, I'm sure when you give Ronaldo today the captaincy, you would have thought, it might have given him an extra 10% to try that little bit harder. And look, I don't think he didn't try hard. I just think the whole team is just not playing as a unit at the moment. And sometimes it only takes one or two players not playing in unity to stuff the whole team up, let alone when 11 players are nearly playing individually. So,
and a bit of luck too, Rob, isn't it? Like I saw a lot of it, like Fernandez, if he doesn't hit the bar, or if Sancho passes it to Ronaldo and releases him, not tries to take it on himself. When it's not going for you, these little things compound, and that's what we saw this morning.
That's it. Decision making is a completely different thing. But look, you have to put the shoe was on the other foot as well. Wolves also weren't lucky as well. They hit the post or the bar off the free kick. They created a lot more chances than us. They dominated possession. Our midfield is not existent. That's the thing. People are punching holes through our midfield. Everyone knows in the game of football, whoever wins majority of the time the midfield battle wins the game. We haven't been winning any midfield battles lately. So,
who do you want, Robbie? Tell me, because you know what? I think your midfield is subpar, right? Your midfield is subpar at best.
Putting it lightly.
And there are plenty of comments in the live chat saying, like, Tom's saying that the squad's been neglected. George is here saying midfield's the biggest issue. Half the league has a mid, and you can't dominate games with that. Who would you like to bring in for your midfield? Who's going to come and be realistic?
In January.
Who do you think could come in and help?
In January, no one big. Like I said, I know we're linked to a few players. I think Kamara and a few others. Look, right is not going to happen. That's not really realistic. Look, if we wanted to throw money at him next year, Declan Rice, his name's always going to come up. But you're going to be
Brozovic as well. He's off contract as well.
I rate Brozovic as well. How old is Brozovic? Is he like 28 or something?
Yeah, late 20s, but still a quality footballer in that.
Quality footballer. He's got the experience. It's like when we got Nemanja Matic a couple of years ago, kind of the same thing. And look, he'll bring someone that's going to have the experience right there and now. I think if United had the option and money wasn't, I think a Declan Rice they'd probably like. But you need that player. I read something today. West Ham have Declan Rice. You've got Rodri that's at Man City. You've got Henderson. Yes, he's older, but they've got that one anchor of one Kante and Jorginho and stuff at Chelsea. We haven't got that one
You
player.
forgot Granit Xhaka.
Oh, sorry, yeah, Xhaka, Mr. Xhaka, or
The shirt
34
puller.
as I know some of your people, or even Thomas Partey, even to an extent. We haven't got that player that is going to be at this quality and consistent every week. Last week, Scott McTominay gave us a 10 out of 10 world-class performance. This week, he looked like he was Fred 2.0 again. So we don't have that consistency. And look, I haven't got a name. There's obviously plenty of players out there on a wish list. Declan Rice would be one of them. But you're going to play
Get your hands off him, mate.
Exactly. He's the hot property number one. But look, I honestly, I'm nearly speechless. I haven't got any words, and I don't know where to point the results anymore because I just feel like since Fergie left, it's just been a vicious circle we're going in, and we're not getting any further. It's just get a new manager, give him money to get the Champions League. Don't make Champions League, get Europa, get money, sack the manager. The players aren't going to go anywhere. It's going round and round in circles. And you know, every time we change a manager, you get new hope that something different is going to change. And it's been 4 or 5 managers since Fergie now, and the circles
And you
continue.
get this, Rob, like what Alex is saying, Rangnick, and we don't even know how long he's meant to stay. We don't know what the plan is.
He's not going to get a couple windows. He's got
you
6
get a
months.
manager, you need to give him time. You can't bring in a manager, not give them time. I mean, we had that excuse for Ollie, like they used to say it's not his squad. Then when it became his squad and it wasn't doing what they expected, that's when he got the flick. I couldn't see him getting. I'm not even suggesting Ralph will get the flick, but you have to give him some kind of time. Like, I just don't know where to. Your owners get a lot of the blame. Tom and I had a bit of a chat about this. And I'd love, I don't know, maybe next week because it's a bit quieter, we can do a phone in. I would love Tom or any United fan to phone or jump on the stream and explain to me how the Glazers are at fault for this. I mean, I think your academy's poorly run because we've seen Chelsea bring in a whole bunch of youth players who have made a mark in the Premier League. We've seen Arsenal bringing through youth players who are making a mark in the Premier League. City managed Phil Foden, perfectly, and they've got some young players too. But again, those guys, your Greenwood, Rashford, but they haven't done what they needed to do. So I think there's problems with your academy, and I do think the owners, like the Cronkies, aren't football people, but they've backed your managers, and in their zone of control, what more can they do? I don't know.
I read this today, Borgie, like the up and down between you and Tom, and I told you, as he explained, the back-end's there, but the back-end's there, there's 2 different back-ends. There's back-ends to make a team functionally, and there's a back-end to make a team look pretty on paper and shut the fans up. Anyone can go and spend 150, 200 mil every single window and get pretty names like your Ronaldo.
I mean,
like
you guys are doing backflips over your wheel, over your transfer window. You were doing backflips about Varane.
Of course I was. I'm excited. They're world-class players. Ronaldo's the GOAT. Varane's a 4-time Champions League winner.
So why? It's not the Glazers' fault when you're putting in those players. They're providing the goods. It's like a chef. You can give the chef the best cuts of meat, the best ingredients, but if they can't use the stove, they're going to burn it. It's not going to cook. I don't think the Glazers can copy it.
But is it though? Yeah, let me say this. You go on, Robin. Go.
No, just quick. Like, look at Liverpool and their signings from when Klopp started the rebuild. Players that some people didn't even know, some players that were in lower divisions. No, Mane was nothing. Firmino was nothing. All these Naby Keita, all these players that they've picked here smartly because they've got a board and someone with their head screwed on and not. And if you look at their prices, they paid 30 million here, 40 million here, 50 million here max. We're paying 100 million for everyone, thinking that that's going to plug the hole because his name is Pogba and we've got now Ronaldo and he's going to win us the Champions League and everything now. I'm just saying, look at that. We were screaming for everyone to be back. The manager has been backed, but maybe those players we didn't need. Again, I would never not say to Ronaldo, but a lot of people are arguing Ronaldo is a problem now. So what did he do? We got Ronaldo and people thought we're going to win the league straight away, and it upped our pressure 100 times. Maybe there could have been someone else up under the radar that we could have signed and could have actually helped the system. Or maybe there's players that we need. We haven't had a system since Ollie Plus came in anyway. So we just keep buying players and hoping it's going to work out, or hoping because Sancho got 25 goals and 30 assists last year, he's going to come to the Premier League and the same thing's going to happen. It doesn't work like that. So all these, Yes, all these look good, the backing, and they look good on paper, but it hasn't come on the pitch. It hasn't showed nothing.
Yeah, and I think the
I tell you what you
motivation
think.
comes from the board. And what I mean by that is if the board is genuinely interested in improving the on-field performance of the team, they'll buy the players that are best suited to improve the collective and not just buy the players that look best on paper. Like you said, Robbie, they bought Ronaldo as a big PR move on top of being a top quality player. They've got Varane, a 4-time Champions League winner. They bought the young prodigy in Jadon Sancho. And yes, they all look good on Football Manager, but were they the top 3 players that should have been priority? None of them were midfield-based signings, which was arguably the weakest part of the squad that needed the most addressing. So that's why I'm saying it comes back to the motivation of the board, because they were 3 headline signings, which in ordinary times, they should improve a team. But if I'm really crap in the midfield, not saying United is really crap, but if that's the area that needs the most fixing, why would none of the signings be in the area that needs the most fixing? Because they're not the 3 headline signings. So the Glazers are winning the balance sheet Premier League because of how good the jersey signings and all the PR is. But when it comes to the on-field stuff, do they really care? Debatable. I don't know. I'll leave it at that. But look at Chelsea. Chelsea is a good example of putting their money in areas that they need fixing. We needed a striker. We bought Lukaku. Obviously, that's a problem because of what he's come out and said. But they've gone and spent money in areas of the pitch where we need the fixing. So I just don't know if the Glazers have United supporters and the club's interest at heart. That's all I'm questioning.
Boys, Emad raises a good point, and we are going to move on from this in a moment. But Emad's bang on the money. That midfield finished second last season. They've regressed. I know what Emad was saying before about Ronaldo impacting your structures, because your team last season was built around one man, Bruno Fernandes, the Portuguese John Joe Shelby himself, and he was bossing this league. You've got Ronaldo who's come in now. Bruno is no longer seen as an important or pivotal part of that midfield. I think that signing Ronaldo, that vanity from the club and the fans to say, you know what, we don't need this guy, but we're going to sign him just so he doesn't go to someone else. That way we have our moment. I think the Glazers were stupid with that. But Ollie also came out and said he's welcome back here. Like, all he has to do is call. Your legends came out and wanted him as well. That signing to me has put you backwards. I still think you've got youth who aren't good enough. I still think their recruitment's not that great. But to me, this one's not on the Glazers, because Ollie came out and said, let's get him. You had a manager there who I'm sure wanted Varane, who I'm sure wanted Ronaldo. It was a vanity signing that I think United are suffering for now. And there's a long way to go before United can get back to where they need to be. I genuinely think, and I know I'll probably cop stick for this, but I think we're in better shape than you are at the moment, despite the fact that you beat us the other week. I'm seeing some identity at Arsenal. I'm seeing some change. I'm seeing some structure. I do think that we're in better shape right now. But look, there's a long way to go. And the result, credit to Wolves, big points to them. And United have a lot of work to do. They have a lot of work to do, boys. Anything else you wanted to add on that, Robbie?
No, I think you wrapped it up fairly, man. Like I said, we can only go off what we've seen. And yeah, I don't know what you guys discussed before I jumped on. But yeah, I don't know if you talked about the Arsenal game, but I will definitely give credit to them. I watched that game. I'll put my 2 cents in. A game that you guys should have won. A game that you guys dominated. I haven't seen anyone go toe-to-toe and actually dominate City like that in years, it feels like. Very unlucky not to get a result, let alone a win. Just credit to you guys. I'm not going to go through all the controversial decisions, but I just want to put my 2 cents and say a well-done game, and unlucky for you guys, not a better result.
RJ, you want to add anything else on the United fiasco before we look at some other results real quickly?
No, we've just gone over this before with the whole Ronaldo's disrupted the balance thing, and had they spent 100 million on, say, Declan Rice, based on the Fernandes inclusion, who they had currently up front, would they be better off? Or instead of Sancho, they bought a Rice or another quality midfielder. Would they be better off? Yes, I would think so.
Yeah, look, I agree, boys. There were also some other interesting results. Brentford did the business over Villa. That shocked me. I don't think any of us tipped a Brentford win, did we?
No.
It's
Yeah,
come from
no.
behind as well, I believe, too, if I'm not mistaken.
Good result for Brentford. Everton Brighton with a cracker of a match. I didn't get to catch the full match. I caught the highlights, but did you boys see this? Any quick thoughts on this game?
Didn't see it, but I know it definitely. I tipped Brighton in this one, so I got that one up.
And Mac Allister with a cracker as well, and good on Brighton because they're a good little team, so happy for him.
I know Davide would be in here. He'd be very happy with 3 points for Leeds. Might be a chance for them to start turning things around. West Ham beating Palace in a very exciting derby. Patrick Vieira was very heated after that match. Tell you what, the Premier League referees have not made any friends this game week. Another good game, but resilient is how I would describe that from West Ham. Did you see any of that, Robbie?
No, I did catch the Tottenham game, but if you want to knock that,
Yeah, jump onto it, man. Look, I know Martin and Alex will appreciate that.
Well, like I said, look, all you can say at the end of the day, when if you don't win pretty, they literally won with nearly the last kick of the game. Good set piece, on with the assist, and I think it was it Ben? I don't know,
Sanchez.
Davison Sanchez that got the header. And look, mate, if we miss out on the top four at the end of the year, I'm just going to say, look, I know it's been, but I'm going to say we should have got Conte. I still to this day wish we had Conte. We haven't got him now. I know the boat sailed, but I'm always going to say that was just my opinion. Look what he's doing with Spurs at the moment. It could be just for this minute, but at the minute, from what he's done, you can see he's starting to get his system implemented in that team as soon as possible. Yes, they're only winning by a goal or two or late or whatever. At the end of the day, they're getting points on the board.
Winning's winning.
They're winning is winning. Exactly. They're in a better position than us. They've got 1 or 2 games probably on us and a couple others. And, they're definitely got to be – they're definitely in the mix for that 4th spot, definitely.
RJ, any thoughts on our London rivals?
They're concerning me, mate. They are because, like you said, they haven't been playing brilliantly, but they're getting the job done. It doesn't help, of course, when you get basically a 2-week break and you get all this freshness that they're banking up, which might catch up with them later in the year. But theoretically speaking, if they win all their remaining games, they're well within the shout of top 4 and they actually entrench themselves above you, Arsenal, I think, as well. So it's actually watch this space. Conte's doing some scary things, and if he gets a couple of players in this window, you just don't know what he can do because we know he's got demonstrated success in the Premier League.
Took the words out of my mouth, RJ. If he gets 1 or 2 players in this window or, in the future, I think he's only going to build on this team. And I think people like your Harry Kane's, when he gets back in form, he'll say, hey, we've got a world-class manager here and another project I might want to stay and be a part of. And, you just never know.
It's a straight swap with Lukaku, Rob. What are you talking about?
Yeah, well, yeah, Mr. Lukaku.
Hey, speaking of, I know they didn't play, but just quickly, because I know Shano's here and he'll want to know, Robbie, you still think Newcastle are going down?
I'm going to stick to it, mate. I don't change every 5 seconds. They're going down no matter what. It's January the 5th of March. I thought they would have signed half the Premier League by now.
Trippier is apparently close, and you and we talked about that, didn't we? I think it's a good signing for them.
Look, you said it's experience. At the end of the day, he's 1-0. He's on the outer. He's getting a bit older. He's not playing Atletico week in, week out. That's a good move for him. I'm sure they're going to throw big dollars at him. Like I said, he's an experienced player that's played Champions League. He's played at a top 4 club. So, look, I think it definitely fits the bill for Newcastle. I don't think he's going to, save them from relegation. But unless they get a handful of other good players with experience.
I think they're going to get Aubameyang.
You reckon Aubameyang?
I just have this feeling, and I think I said it a couple of weeks ago. I know Martin knows I said it, but I have a feeling they're going to get Aubameyang, man. I look at the numbers. Who else can afford his wages? And we'll let him go cheap, even if it's a loan or something. Daniel's saying that supposedly Martial is close. Look,
all of our clubs want to get rid of our strikers at the moment. Let's see.
I can't see Martial going to Newcastle. On the grapevine, on the Juventus grapevine, there's big rumours that they might go in for Ramsey. That could be close, and I could see something happening. But when you combine Ramsey, as you know and I know, mate, you're gonna get a glass because he breaks just walking on the pitch. I think.
But when he's on,
I think he's got more trophies at Juve than appearances nearly. If I'm going to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, look, a couple of comments in the live chat. Boys, did we have anything we wanted to cover before quick fires? I don't know if I've missed anything, RJ.
Just from a transfer talk point of view, Scott, have you got anything that you're hearing about Arsenal at the moment, or is it quite dormant? Because I know there's a bit of movement in our space.
Obviously, the Aubameyang situation is one that needs to be resolved. I read a rumor this evening about Vlahovic from
Fiorentina. Yeah.
That we've offered 55 million plus Lucas Torreira for him. Look,
Not going to happen.
I don't know enough about him to say whether I'd be happy or not. I'd need to do a bit of research. But I know you boys watch some Serie A. Would he come in and do a good job? Or
I told you about him about 3 months ago, and you're like, it's all or nothing. This is a guy I told you about 3 months ago. Hot property, banging goals in left, right, and center. This guy won't go for any less than 75 million. So even with a
he's
player,
quality, man.
he's young. He's like I said, and when you always see those players when they're at that kind of bottom or mid-tier team, and he's producing numbers like he is, and like he really is a clinical finisher. That's when the dollars are going to be there. He's going to go. The club knows he's going to go. It's just how much money they're going to get and when he's going to go at the end of the day. I think his contract is running down low. I think he'll be an improvement to any team.
100%. No, but that's really it for Arsenal at this point. Alex saying Dele Alli to Middlesbrough. Surely not. Surely he hasn't fallen that far that he's going to Borough.
Back to MK Dons.
Calvin saying a big striker for Arsenal would destabilise us. Look, at the end of the day, the problem with not signing a striker, if we're not going to play Aubameyang, is that one injury to Lacazette, and we don't have a striker. We're using Eddie Nketiah up front, which I don't think is good enough, or we're playing Martinelli up front, and I actually prefer him out wide. He's playing well now. So I think we need to think ahead. Lacazette's not signing a new contract.
Yeah.
Aubameyang, I think, is done. So if we don't go in and try and sign someone like this now at 70 million, if he continues banging in goals, he might add another 30 million to his price tag, or draw the attention of a club like Chelsea maybe when Lukaku's done. So I understand that it could destabilise, but I think the contracts and the way they are, we need to make a move and start embedding that person in the squad.
Even Real Sociedad, Isaac. I know Alexander Isaac, they've been chasing him too. He might be someone that's a good compromise because I actually think he's a pretty decent striker.
He's a very good player.
Forward player, yeah.
I've seen him play.
This one, what about this? I'm going to ask you about this. Insigne to Toronto. What on earth? That's a payday, surely.
100%.
Why not? That's what I'd say. Good experience. Kind of Toronto's plenty of Italians over there as well.
Does he still get in the national team?
Well, he's probably on the tail end, mate. On the tail end now.
You got to look at that. This is Giovinco 2.0, a mirror image. Exactly what happened. He went over there, big name marquee signing for them. It's like a 5-year contract with 12 million a year or something.
We should have got him to the MacArthur Bulls, Scott.
Yeah, massive payday. I think that's crazy. He's the captain of Napoli. They're fighting for the Scudetto this year. It's crazy, but it's not just him. There's a couple others from the Italian team that are linked to go there as well. I think it's madness.
I mean, you're not going to the World Cup anyway, so it's done for him anyway.
Fair call.
Hey, while we've got you, I was showing RJ this before. This isn't a sponsorship. It's not a paid plug. Just wanted to share it with you guys in case you haven't seen these guys at the moment. They're called Scouted Football. You can find them on Twitter. I came across them through a friend, but it's free. They do a free analytical handbook on a bunch of young players. And again, all you've got to do is go to their website, sign up, completely free. But they do profiles on a bunch of young players. You can get hard copies if you want. I couldn't help myself. I had to get a copy because I saw Smith Rowe on the cover. And they just go through and do some great profiles on young players. There's a really good write-up on the Chelsea Academy and the Arsenal Academy. This is the November edition. But check out Scouted Football on Twitter if you're on there, because they genuinely do some brilliant pieces of writing. On young players.
Scott, I was going to say as well, another good one for those that, like a little bit of analysis or doing a bit of tactical reading. Breaking the Lines is a good sort of page to follow. BTL, I think it's on Twitter. A friend of mine, Chelsea Central, writes for them, and they do a pretty good job just going individual players like they did Antonio Rudiger and who some likely replacements could be. So Nicolas Sula from Bayern Munich as an example. So for those that are, like I said, more analytical, tactically sort of driven, check it out.
Boys, we'll do some quick fires and wrap this up.
Let's do it.
Happy to do that. Now, before we do the quick fires and wrap it up, we will be back on Thursday. Even though we have a week off football, I think we'll just come back, do a bit of transfer talk. Maybe we open up for a phone-in if anyone wants to.
Big Carabao Cup Semi-Finals.
Exactly.
As a neutral, I'm looking forward to both those games. I actually think they'll be really, really good games. The only thing I don't like about those is they're two-legged. I think go to Wembley, play a semi-final. It's a bit more. I like it when their semi-finals are one-legged. That's the only thing I don't like. Two-legged semis, I don't understand them. But anyway, I'm actually as a neutral, thought the both games should be crackers.
RJ, how are you feeling ahead of that? Because yours will happen on Thursday morning, so we won't really get a chance to preview it. But you're confident you'll do the business against Spurs?
Well, it's the first leg's at Stamford Bridge. I understand, unless correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes,
but
it is.
Yeah, so I am. I'm feeling it really just depends on the press conference and who Tuchel says who's now injured, because we seem to be dropping like flies or getting COVID every 5 seconds. So provided we can field a similar team, I know that they did suffer some exhaustion because there was a lot of complaints after the Liverpool game, and you can understand why after watching. If we can field a similar team but make a few plugs or a few swaps for some youngsters, I think we'll have enough to get the job done in this first leg. But I know the dangers of taking Tottenham too lightly, given the rivalry we have.
Don't know who it was, but I did see Conte come out today and say there will be a few players missing. Maybe the Spurs boys in the chat know a bit more, but he did say there will be a few players missing. Don't know who, but
I think. Do you want to know what I think is going to happen, RJ?
Come on, man. Tell me.
I think they're going to beat you. I think they're going to beat you at the Bridge. I don't want them to. It's one of few times I'll actually be hoping for a Chelsea win, but they're just. I could see it happening with Conte. It's in the script, isn't it? They come back, frustrate you, edge out a win, and they've
got some dangerous forwards. If Son is on his game, or like you said, Kane finds his shooting boots if he plays, then it's definitely not one of those out of this world results.
Was it an FA Cup semi-final a few years ago, RJ, when I think you guys played each other? I think it was Nemanja Matic scored an absolute rocket or something.
Yeah.
I remember that game. Cracker.
The pile driver. In off the crossbar.
Yes, cracker.
Look, let's just hope it's a good game of football, to be honest, and we'll see how it goes. Marty's saying it'll be a draw at the Bridge. Alex saying they'll be going all out. Well, I can't wait to see it. And Warren, what do you think of this, RJ, before we do quick fires? We need to sacrifice the EFL Cup to focus on locking down second place.
I understand that argument, but we've made it this far. We've got to go for it now. If we got knocked out the last round before, I'd say, who cares? We're here now. Trophies are trophies. And I know this is the lowest ranking one. We've also got the Club World Cup, so it's another one we've also got to watch out for. But again, we've got a deep enough squad, hopefully, now that we're starting to get a few players coming back from injuries and COVID, that, it's a bitter rival. We can't take the mickey out of it, if you know what I mean.
100%. You want to win any cup. You want to win any cup. I don't care about the rankings, any of that. You quite frankly just want to lock them down. There is also some FA Cup over the weekend. We'll talk about that on Thursday, because Thursday's show will be a short one. Unless a whole heap of you jump on the link and want to jump in the stream. But we'll open it up on Thursday. You don't need to use your video if you just want to call in and chat, or you want to talk about something from tonight. United boys, I'd love to hear from you, particularly about the Glazers issue. But let's do some quick fires. Hey, I might start. I've only got one this week. I've been lazy. Your go-to fast food. Like if you're driving home, your missus calls and says, get some takeaway for dinner, get some fast food. Can't be bothered cooking. What do you think? Really, this is going to be hard for you because you're the fussiest eater I know.
I know. And considering that my New Year's resolution is not to touch any fast food, I've done it before. I went a whole year. And fast food for me is like your McDonald's, KFC, stuff like that. I'm going to give it another crack again because I reckon I could do it. But if Sam was to call me for like that, it would probably be Thai. I'd say Thai or a pizza or something like that from a wood fire pizza.
Man, that's not really what I was getting at with fast food. I was talking more your Macca's, Hungry Jacks, all of that. But you know what? I know you're fussy, so we'll take that.
I'll have a Big Mac then.
A Big Mac. I like this from George. Junior burger from Macca's with 5 extra patties. Haven't tried that. Wendy's. I think that's an American one. I've never had Wendy's. Have you had it, RJ? I know you've been to the States.
Yeah.
Oh, you
Just
know what I do
Wendy's.
like? Do you guys like Harry's? Like Harry's the Wheels?
Harry DeWheels, the pie place.
Harry the Wheels hot dog or pie. Like when I see one of them, I do enjoy one of them every now and then.
Hey man, these three in food again. That's my night done. You know this happens at the end every week. Man, look at the
Well,
size.
Italian
of
Maltese. We love our food, boys.
I like my food, man. Call in and tell us your favorite foods next week on Thursday. For me, it's KFC. Dirty KFC. Love it. RJ, what about you?
I had a red rooster today. Actually, it's funny you brought it up. I actually quite like good old the red chookie, but I'll lock in Macca's. Just a classic. They're just versatile, so I'll pick them.
Easy. That's me done, boys. That's my one.
Robbie, you got one, or you want me to?
Yeah, no, I'm prepared tonight, but off the top of my head, I know a lot of series have finished and started on Netflix or all the streaming devices. Have you got something that's caught your eye lately? Me personally, started the new Cobra Kai today. 2-3 episodes in, I'm hooked on it already.
I haven't started, Robbie, but I'm just going to dedicate a day to
So good.
Anyway, man, that's more like it. And Wendy's Aussie. I know that's an ice cream shop. I think there's also a takeaway in America. I know my food. You know that. RJ, what about you? What are you watching, dude?
At the moment, really been binging on 2 shows. One just for a background drop, The Office, the US version. Gotta love that. But the main one that I've been sinking my teeth into, Yellowstone. Really been loving that show. I'm staying.
Money wise, yes. You
Couple of good
Borgie?
ones there. For me, it's been The Witcher on Netflix. I played the video games. I watched season 1. I've just finished season 2.
You rate it, Scott? It's worth it?
I started it last during the week. I started episode. I've seen episode 1, season 1.
The first season's really hard because it just is time jumps. So if you can grind through the first season, the second one's phenomenal. It's just if you haven't played the games, there's a lot of time skips and back and forward. But then the second season is quite good. There's a few good ones here.
I will be onto that one. I'm a Star Wars fan, so I will get onto that one.
Bit of wrestling too from Daniel. RJ, your quick fire?
Yeah, sure. Okay, so because I've been in isolation, not been doing much, as I said earlier, what's one hobby, not shows or TV related, that you like to do on your spare time?
Look, for me, I think everyone knows it's gaming. To be honest, I spend a lot of time doing some gaming, FIFA at the moment, a lot of pro clubs. Declared, if you're still awake after this, mate, let's jump on and do a couple. I'm ready to go. But yeah, no, it's certainly gaming for me.
Robbie?
Yeah, look, probably similar. FIFA for me. I'm not a gamer. I only have FIFA, so that's the only one. But look, I always enjoy my fishing when I get the time to do it too.
Nice. And for me, I don't know. I'd probably say just going outdoors, listening to a podcast, to be honest, not plugging our IFT podcast, but I listen to a lot of football stuff. So going outside, put the headphones on and just listening to other people that actually know what they're talking about.
But you know what? Podcast, I can't even say that's a hobby for me because literally podcasts get me through my day. Like
it's an everyday hobby for me.
Oh yeah, for me, like as soon as I get to work for nearly the whole 8 hours, there's something in my ears that get me through my day. Just it relaxes me and just helps me concentrate sometimes. Not just football, movies, sometimes a bit of everything, mainly football.
I hope your boss isn't watching this. You should be working. Apex Legends, good shout, Shona. I'm just garbage at it, so I don't play it anymore. Boys, again, I said to RJ
quick
before,
sure.
I said, yeah, it'll be a quick one, man. We'll only really talk about 3 games, do some quick fires and finish up. But live chat has been buzzing. It's been buzzing tonight. We've had, over 20 of you in here. Please make sure you like the video. Come back and leave a comment on there. It helps us. Really helps get it out. We will be back on Thursday with a maybe quick, but we'll also give you the opportunity to jump on the stream with us. So if you want to come on and talk football, you want to talk about a transfer rumor or something, then jump on and join us on Thursday night. Boys, I know, Daniel, you did put the scores up in the live chat, but by the time I scroll up to find them, dude, they're so far up. If you could, can you send them through to us on Thursday? Because I know you put them up right at the beginning of the stream. And Robbie's winning, so it's not really that important.
I think I found it, Scott.
You found
them?
them? Sweet. You chuck them up.
And I get a bonus point because I found them. So now I'm on top, 113. No, just kidding.
Yeah, I like it.
We're locked here.
Terrible.
Scott, you're doing good, mate. Top 3 again. You're killing it.
Boy, oh boy. I'm actually getting worse as the season goes on.
He's actually technically top 2 there because we're equal first, so he can have second for tonight.
So who wins that? We should clarify that. If we end up on top, equal on top, who wins?
Yeah.
You know, I'm gonna have to figure something out about that. I don't know.
I think the third person then decides who the winner is.
Oh wow,
and I'm completely impartial here, but I think it's the person who was first on top should stay on top.
Or maybe whoever
I was going to go which club has the most trophies, but you pick which one you want.
Oh, that's a good one. Whoever's club finishes on top. That's a decent one. I like my chances.
Right, boys, it's been an absolute pleasure. Live chat, thank you. Hopefully we see you on Thursday. Make sure you've got your laptops charged so you can jump on with us as well and have a chat. We'd love to have you in. Anything else? Nothing else? We done?
Well done.
Wish you a good evening, guys.
But, it was good to get on here anyway and see everyone.
No, we appreciate you coming on, man. Everyone take care. Enjoy your football. Enjoy your family time and stay safe. See you later.